Hi everybody, I am jumping on just a couple seconds late to get started at 4 o'clock. Had a couple technological issues, but we are going to just wait a couple minutes. I'm going to let a few people hop on here and then we'll get started. Happy Tuesday everybody. It has already for me been a pretty long week. And I'm excited to see you guys hopping on here. If you guys can give me a couple thumbs up to say that you can hear me, that would be awesome. Awesome. Okay, I'm taking those as that you can hear me, so that's good. I will be the first to admit that going live on Facebook is super scary for me, and so appreciate all of those thumbs up. This is one of the only times that I've done this so far, so thanks for bearing with me, guys. My name is Jordan Merlino, and I am not only a QC event decor tutor, but I am also an alumni of QC Event and Wedding Planning School. I am the owner and operator of 7th and Central Weddings and Events. I am currently located just outside of, oh, thanks Athena, she's the best. Athena was my tutor, but we'll get to that in a little while. So I'm located in the greater Seattle, Washington area, and I am just so excited to be here with you guys today. If you have any questions, please hang on to those for our question and answer portion at the end of this, and I am excited. Hi, Mary. So I will be the first to admit that I am very type A and very organized. If you see me glance to the side, it's because those are where my notes are. And I live by notes, which is one of those quirky things that makes me valuable to my clients. And so now I just own it. And so if you see me glance to the side, know that I am definitely paying attention. So I started planning events and knew that I was going to be an event planner before I ever knew what event planning was or that it was a career. I was a child. I think Father of the Bride had recently come out and I wanted to be Frank. And so I started planning events for all of my dolls and making my younger sisters, all of their Barbies get married, and photographing and decorating the entire thing. And so I just knew that's what I was meant to do and what I love doing. And then when I turned 16, I started working in the restaurant industry and hospitality. And so since then, we've kind of worked in a variety of places and industries that have all really benefited my skill set for wedding and event planning and decorating. And so I have built wedding registries as well as helped guests shop for their off of registries for their couples. I managed a bridal gown salon and sold bridal gowns, and so I got to understand the time frames for that and how alterations work and how to put a bustle into a gown, and those are all really handy things. In college I delivered and designed wedding cakes, and that was really helpful, and so it really gave me a really good foundation and appreciating everyone else's craft and how much goes into all of the aspects of different vendors for weddings and events and how all of those pieces come together. And then, yeah, so in 2011, I began assisting a wedding planner. Hi guys, I'm so glad you guys are here and joining me. And I assisted a wedding planner who specialized in Chaldean weddings, which are primarily Catholic Middle Eastern weddings, and they are gigantic weddings where there are typically 500 to 1,000 guests in attendance, and it was an amazing experience. They just had incredible decor, and it really just inspired me and made me want to go out on my own when the time was right. And so in 2015, the time seemed right, and I opened my first business, which was Jordan Merlino Events in California. And immediately after that, my husband, who is an active duty United States Navy sailor, got orders to Japan. And so what went from seeming like a really great time to open a business went to, oh my gosh, I'm now moving to Asia. And what do I do with my business now? And so in October of 2015, we moved to Yokosuka, Japan, where we lived for about 3 years. And when you live overseas in a military installation, there are many rules about what you can do for an employment as a spouse, and what you can do for employment as a foreign national living in their host country. And so I was very quickly realizing that planning weddings may not work here, and I just felt really overwhelmed by the amount of obstacles that I had. And so that was the time that I said, you know what, I want to take full advantage of the time that I have here. I want to explore Asia, and I want to be inspired by it, and I want to get hands-on event planning experience where I can, but I'm also going to take this time and use it for training. And so that is when I found QC Event School. I had a friend that was going through the certification process, and I was really inspired by what she was doing and posting on social media. And so it was really appealing to me that QC was self-paced. And so I was like, hey, this works for my super crazy lifestyle. And it was definitely something that fit with what I was doing. And so I signed up, and my parents shipped all of the QC event planning supplies to me at my overseas address, and so I just began working on it. I was very fortunate in having Athena as one of my tutors, and she just really helped me feel like it was almost like a mastermind experience where she was complimenting my ideas and giving me constructive feedback on how to improve the things that I was already doing. And it was just really encouraging and pushed me to explore designs more and kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone, which was so great. And so it took me about 2 years, but I was certified as an international event and wedding professional, as well as an event decorator and also a luxury wedding specialist. And so I took all 3 of those courses and really enjoyed each one of them. I think I enjoyed event decor more than I thought that I would originally. I was really looking forward to event and wedding planning courses, but I had such a great tutor with event decor, and we even started to explore some of branding and how to get my business going, and that was just really encouraging. And yeah, so it was an awesome experience. In about 2 years, I became certified. And so let's see. So something that I learned was that although I identify more as a planner and not so much a designer or decorator, that those are strengths that I still have and that I can push to explore more. And so that was something that I did not expect to learn in this course. And so that was really valuable to me. I continue to grow. I continue to learn things. Athena, thank you so much. And oh yay, one of my students is here. That's so exciting. Hi guys, if you're one of my students, I appreciate you guys being here so much. You guys are all doing great work, and I can't wait to see your next units. And so I am always watching podcasts, and I'll be honest, I'm always learning things from my students as well with their designs, because we all have different styles and we all have different things that inspire us that we bring into those events, and I love doing that. And so I think that one of the most important things is to just stay inspired and do whatever makes you feel like you can continue continue to create really awesome designs and be your best self for your clients. And so I love to travel, and I could be in Japan or I could be in Bali, which is like my favorite place, and I could plan like 100 weddings just off of that inspiration. And so whatever it is that you find inspiration in, I would encourage you to do that and do that often, so that way you can continue to build the best events that you can for your clients. My goal as a QC tutor is to just be just kind of nurture that gift of creativity and design that you guys already have, even if you don't identify in that, like I didn't, that you do that, you do have that in you, and you totally have the ability to do this, and just kind of nurture those skills. And, you know, QC really helped me kind of take all of my big ideas and make them more defined and be able to kind of put them down on paper. So it went from being, oh, I'm an event expert and I'm just going to make your event really pretty and I'm going to handle everything, to now I can kind of define what those tasks are that I can do for my clients. And it's easier to communicate why I'm a value to them and to their wedding day, because it's not just, you guys are going to sit back and I'm going to take care of everything. It's, these are the tasks that I'm willing to do. This is why it's so important to have me on your team for your wedding day, and just, kind of go from there. And so that's what I hope to instill in my students, is just that ability to kind of define what you're doing and set boundaries, but also be able to show your clients why you're such an asset, other than you're going to make it look really pretty, because we know you guys are going to make it really pretty. I've seen all of your work and it's awesome. So yeah. When I first opened my business, obviously I was in California, and so the very first things that I did was to register my business in the way that worked best for me at the time, and also to work with an attorney and get a legally binding contract. So, and I stress that to all of my clients: if you're going to start your own business, those are two things that you really need. One of the things that's super helpful is that QC offers the Accelerate Your Business course. And so we get into a little bit of branding, and some kind of ideas going about your business, even in event decor. But the Accelerate Your Business course is definitely one that is so valuable if you are starting to really put those wheels in motion towards your own event planning school. My first client, after I finished the courses with QC, actually I think it was during, was my best friend. So shout out to her for letting me test all of my wedding planning skills out on her. And so I was also the maid of honor in her wedding. And so I learned the very hard way that you cannot be everything to everyone. And one of the reasons it's so important to have a professional planner and a professional decorator on your team is so that your really important guests, like your maid of honor, can worry about delivering her speech and not when the bagpiper is coming in. And so, and that makes it easier, and to explain to your clients too about why we are a value to have on your wedding day or your event day, is because you and all of your guests of honor and all of those people that are so important to you deserve that time to be not distracted. And so after that, I was able to plan a couple of events while we were in Japan. And so I planned a so cute Sweet 16 for a lovely young lady, and that was so much fun. And then I also planned a military event. It was a ceremony. It was the Commander Navy Region Japan's very first change of charge ceremony in the entire United States Navy, and I was really proud of myself for doing that. And so I have experience in weddings as well as nonprofit and corporate and military events, which makes it kind of unique and hopefully makes me helpful as a tutor to however you plan on launching your career, because hopefully I've done it. And every type of event has their own type of challenges and hiccups that come along the way. And so there are times where the bride needs a bustle, but there's also times with military events where you need a giant sword to cut the cake and you didn't know that ahead of time. And so awesome. Oh, Shantae, thank you so much for your service. That is awesome. And yeah, so just taking your experience, I mean, that's totally applicable experience that'll totally benefit you in a career of event planning. So let's see, what else did I want to tell you guys about? I feel like there's so much. If you are thinking about starting your own business, I suggest that you just start finding out what your style is. Start talking about, start creating mood boards, start attending events, and just see what you like and what you don't like. I learned pretty quickly that one of my favorite things to do in events is to incorporate family heirlooms into the overall event decor, especially for weddings. So taking just those objects that are so sentimental to us and finding a way for them to work inside the overall design of a wedding is my favorite. And so we have taken everything from grandmom's wedding dress to dad's checkerboard table, and we've made it work. And now it's like a challenge to me to make that happen, and I love it so much. And so just kind of start figuring out what is your style and what you want to see in events. That's what's going to set you apart in the industry, even in the most oversaturated markets. But again, I can't stress enough just starting your career out with the right foundation of education. And right now QC is doing this awesome promotion where they have a free specialty course with the purchase of a foundation course, which is awesome. And you guys should definitely take advantage of that if you're considering starting off your education or starting off your career with this type of education. And so I know how valuable it was to me, and I hope that it will be that valuable to you. And I hope that I can be your tutor along the way. So so after registering my business, after kind of getting started that way, I was fortunate enough to have some photos already of events that I had helped with, to kind of start a portfolio. If you don't have that experience, I would definitely say that one of the very first things that you should do, especially after kind of learning more about colors and how they work together and the logistics of a wedding in QC course, then you should definitely start off by doing a styled shoot and team up with some other, you can even do other beginners in the area and just learn from each other, and be able to just create a faux wedding. And it will definitely open your portfolio, but you'll have so much to post to social media. Social media is something that is so incredibly important to your career in event planning. It allows everybody to see what they're getting into and see what your style is and how it works with them. So definitely take advantage of social media as far as your business goes right off the bat. It is free for the most part to post on social media and get a following. And so something that you can also learn from QC Event School is how to take the most advantage of Instagram algorithms and Facebook algorithms so that they work in your favor, because it's hard and it's complicated. And we have those tools right here with us to be able to help you and launch your career. So if you guys have questions, please type them in, and I'll be happy to get to those in just a few. So yeah, I would just encourage you guys to do what inspires you, discover what your style is, and that combined with a solid foundation of education for your event planning career, you just can't go wrong. And just keep getting that hands-on experience. Volunteer for a florist and help set up and take down for weddings and help a caterer take down, and all of those things. They always appreciate the help, I can promise you. And it also just helps you to understand how all of the different logistics and pieces of events come together to create one beautiful event that's really meaningful. And yeah, so I would love to get to you guys' questions fairly soon. So if you guys have any, I'm going to try and scroll back a little bit here, and I'm going to answer the ones that I see here. If you have any specific questions or just some general event planning questions or questions about QC, throw them all out here. So, oh, thank you so much. So Lise asked, did you start out doing smaller events to get your feet wet after completing QC? So yes and no. I had that experience of doing really large weddings. And so every event, even a wedding for 100 people, seemed like a really small event to me. But because I was in Japan, it was easier to get booked for smaller events. I was one of 2 event planners on the installation of about 25,000 people. So there was not a huge market by any means, but it did definitely allow me to get some really good experience, and kind of planning events in another country. There are a lot more logistically difficult things to handle. And so now I feel like things are just easier to solve when you can go to Walmart down the street. So I started with some smaller events. The first one was that military ceremony with about 175 guests. And then the second one was a really cute Sweet 16, and that had about 30 people. So yeah, that was a good time. And oh, Marsha, thank you so much. I am so glad that you're here with us. And Shelby, so how do you create a style? So that's a tough question. We kind of have, we all have our different ways of how we operate in inspiration and how we approach an event. I've said this before, I come across very like organized and planner like first, and so then I kind of come in with a little bit more of that design element, and that's just me personally. I know that I kind of do more muted and romantic styles at this point. I started actually in all of my QC courses putting together these different mood boards and these different events for people, and then realizing kind of which ones were the hardest ones for me. And I kind of think that the ones that were the hardest for me were the ones where like Athena blossomed and her style like really came through, which is great because we all have a super different style. I like very muted tones. I like things that look exactly the same in 50 years, very like timeless and classic. And so when we did things that were bright colors or very trendy, it was very difficult for me. It's out of my comfort zone. And so in a couple weeks, I am putting together a styled shoot with the color of the year, which is Living Coral. Which, by the way, if you have not seen that, definitely follow Pantone for some color inspiration because they keep it pretty on trend. So I'm kind of pushing myself out of my comfort zone with bright colors, but I know that that's not my style at that point because I do know that it's just more challenging. So definitely take a look at those things that are the most difficult for you to do, and I would say then you might have a pretty good idea of what your style is. Adriana, I am not sure what the average time to complete the event planning course. I do know that I took my time with it because I really wanted to be thorough and I really wanted to learn as much and absorb as much as I could. And I definitely had a different lifestyle than a lot of people by living overseas and being a foreigner. And so it was kind of out sightseeing and then also coming home and working on these projects. So I know that it took me probably 8 to 12 months to complete the event planning course itself, but probably 2 years overall. So I see some students that do it in no time, and then I see other people who take their time and take a couple months to work on it. And that's what's great, is that it works for everybody. And whatever stage of life that you're in, you can accomplish it and you don't have to feel rushed, and you can feel like you can take your time and work on those. Samantha said, mock events, photo shoots for content. How do you do one? So basically you'll team up with, if you're an event decorator or an event planner, you will want to team up with a photographer and make sure that it is a photographer that you really like their style. If you're looking for light and airy photography and you pick a really moody photographer, you probably won't be very happy with the end results of your shoot. So make sure that somebody from the get-go, you like their style. And then meet them for coffee, learn about their business and how they got started and what inspires them. And then take one of your mood boards that you've been working on, and work with other vendors and make it happen. And you'll get a venue and a cake and a model, and all of those same things that go into a wedding, but it's a little bit more relaxed in that you'll probably have a little bit more cushion of time than with an actual wedding. And of course you don't have the pressure of being someone's actual most important day of their life on you to create that. And so afterwards you can submit that. You can actually submit those to QC Event School. They love doing graduate features, and which are awesome and so cool to look at. And so you can go on there and probably still find mine from back in the day. And so you can submit it to everything from different magazines to something regional and local, and really help get your name out there at something for a pretty low cost for just spreading your work out there. So, and then of course you'll have that content for social media as well. So, Shantae said, how do you manage your marketing avenues like Facebook, Instagram, etc., so that it's generating potential clients? Rather, does your social media generate clientele? Whew, that's a great question. That is a fantastic question. Posting on social media on Facebook and Instagram has gotten a little bit easier because there are awesome apps that allow you to post things ahead of time. And so have those saved up, and then when they'll even calculate when the best times for you to post are. And we can definitely go over those in one of your courses too. So it makes it a little bit easier. It is a lot. And so one of the most important things is to look at hashtags and see which hashtags your brides are using. So find a couple, start with even just a couple engaged friends that you know on Instagram, and just kind of see, or even that you don't know, but someone knows, and look at what hashtags they're using and what hashtags they're searching for their weddings. Instagram is definitely by far in my area being used to book wedding vendors. Brides get to see a huge portfolio right in front of them instantly. Yeah, so it works out really well for clientele, especially with the millennial generation being the ones for the most part getting married right now. But I know that there are some markets and some people that have a lot of luck with Facebook. And so I post more to Instagram because I know that that works for the brides in my area, but you might find it the opposite in your neighborhood. And so it's just about trying to find out what your clients are looking for in your area, Pinterest is another one that's huge right now for local couples to find their vendors on. And so I highly suggest taking a look at Pinterest and what can be done to navigate your clients to your website from Pinterest. So I hope that's helpful. At least for someone like myself that is currently looking to enroll at QC, what would you advise me to start out? Okay, so my advice would be to pace yourself with realistic expectations. Don't plan to become an overnight sensation, but take your time and really learn from, take the most of the resources that you have, especially with QC. You have these great written materials where you can read some really substantial things, but you also have a tutor that you can bounce ideas off of. You have a school that's available for questions via email all the time. And so take advantage of all of those resources and just absorb as much as you can. Take lots of notes, hang on to those written materials so you can refer back to them. I totally do that. And yeah, just keep trying to learn. So don't hesitate to reach out to others that are in your industry and learn from them, like florists, like caterers, and photographers, and learn what they'd like to see in local wedding planners and event decorators. And yeah, I hope that's helpful to you, Liz. Samantha, the average time to put together an event proposal, please. So your event proposal, it just totally depends on your business model and how you do things. I have packages and clients pick those packages, and I don't do specific services to each individual client. They choose which package they'd like, and so they know what they're getting up front. For an event design, it's, for me, something that's kind of a work in progress leading up to the day. So we do an initial phone consultation, and maybe that's on the phone or FaceTime, just like 30 minutes to try and get to know each other and see if we are the right fit. Once we decide that, and we move forward with a contract, and at that point we have a first meeting, which is usually 1 to 2 hours, and I learn as much as I can about their day. I mean, constantly just taking notes of everything. What is the most important? How do you want to feel on your wedding day? Who are other people that are going to be there that are really important to you? Do you like vintage? Do you like eclectic? Do you like whatever it is? And then start narrowing it down from there. But in a way where you're not pigeonholing them into one little sector, like they fit a box, like, oh, this is a rustic wedding, but allowing them to be as much of any style as they want to be. And so then I create kind of a design board from there. And we're always evolving that, and we're always changing it. And it's not until probably 8 weeks before the wedding that it's actually like a final, this is what we're doing, because at that point everything's booked and everything's purchased and there's not a lot of changes to be made. But I mean, if somebody meets with you about their wedding design 2 years before their wedding date, I promise you it'll be a lot different. So it just depends on how you want to run your business, and how that works for the individual client. So that might be why you can't find that answer. How many classes in the program? So I took 3 of the different programs that are offered, and so they each have a set number of units that are in them. Like for instance, the event decor course is 3 different units, and so you'll complete those assignments and send them in to your tutor, each unit at a time. And so I can't remember how many units are in the other courses, but of course the foundational classes or the foundational courses do have more individual units in them. So you can take a look at those. And okay, so this is going to be my last question that I answer tonight. So maybe QC can pop in and answer a few more if you guys have them. Otherwise, feel free, if you have a burning question, type it in right now. let's see, Marsha, I have pictures that I would post, but I don't have social media or website yet as I'm waiting to do my logo yet. What is holding you back on your logo? Your logo does not have to be something that's set in stone that you keep for the next 10 years. Just do something. On your Instagram, your profile picture should be a picture of you anyway. So make that a great headshot of yourself so that people put a face to the brand. And just get something going. Nothing is ever set in stone. Your brand can evolve. You know, I said my first business was Jordan Merlino events, and then I decided that's not what I want to do anymore. And so now I have 7th and Central weddings and events, and you don't have to be stuck in one decision. So if you post a logo and 6 months from now you don't love it, that's okay. Your brand's allowed to evolve with you, and so you can change that. So I would start creating something and get something going, and it takes a really long time to build a solid social media following. And so just getting something going and start using your local hashtags just to get attention and just to get a few followers, nothing wrong with that. So okay guys, well, I just want to thank you all so much for coming out here tonight and listening to me and hearing my story. And I hope to see so many of you in the future in courses. Don't forget that QC is offering a free specialty course with the purchase of a foundational course through July 31st. So if you are ready to make that investment in yourself and in your business, and you're ready to just make it happen. I mean, in January, we all said 2019 is going to be our year. So make it happen for yourself. You can do it. I am rooting for you, and I know all of our other tutors are too. And so you have so many resources and so many people that are going to be rooting for you with QC. And so I certainly love being an alumni. And so as you can see, I still have Athena's support as my tutor, and I would love to do that for you guys too. So I hope you have a great evening and a great rest of your week, and I hope to see you in one of your upcoming units. So take care, guys. Thank you.